A young man named Blanc lived in a small village in a rural highland in Laos. The village consisted of thatched huts made from local plant materials that are hand-woven together. Mindfully, bundled straws shaped the roofs. Families kept livestock adjacent to the homes to prevent wild animals from killing or thieves from taking the livestock. Blanc lived with his elderly parents. He was the only child and was the survivor of 3 children. Blanc was the youngest. He became responsible for looking after his elderly parents. Every morning before the roosters would crow and the sun would rise, Blanc was already headed to the field to farm. The walk to the field was 5 miles. The roads are not paved but made of dirt and gravel. Blanc was an attractive young man. He had a masculine-built body from working in the fields and chopping down trees to use for firewood. Girls from his small village adored him. They would rise early to meet him on his way to the field to walk with him. They would ask him to go with them for protection. Some girls packed extra food to give Blanc, hoping he would find favor in them. With many possibilities of girls to choose from, he was not interested. Blanc worked the family's farm acre every day alone. Blanc's parents would ask him daily to find a lovely young lady to wed so that he would be less lonely and have help around the house and farm. The women in the village were all beautiful. They were slender with long black hair, and they were hard workers. But Blanc wanted to avoid marrying a woman from the village. He considered them sisters and wanted to marry someone from a different village, but never found the opportunity to leave because his parents were old and he needed to work. One evening, as Blanc walked home carrying a large timber, he heard a beautiful voice singing beyond the footpaths of the woods. The voice was of a woman singing, and it was angelic. He put the timber on the dirt path and followed the voice that led him to a stream hidden in the forest. A beautiful girl, with skin as white as pearl and long, thick black hair, sat at the water's edge, washing clothes in the stream. Her voice was beautiful, but the words to the song were sad. He didn't recognize her as one of the girls from his village and thought he'd go over to talk. "Hello, miss. Your voice is so beautiful, but you sang such a sad melody, I couldn't help but come over to see you," he said to her from a distance. The young lady turned halfway towards him, her hair hiding half of her face, and you could see a smile appear from behind her hair. She had a dimple as she smiled. Giggling, she replied, "It's not the best, but thank you." She turned back to her original position and continued to wash her clothes. "May I ask you what your name is?" Blanc asked. "Oh, I'm shy. I don't have a nice name. You see, my parents died when I was just a baby. I've been living with my uncle and his wife. The name they gave me isn't nice." She replied, "I won't judge your name. Please, tell me." He insisted. "My name is Pa, like a flower," she said. "Pa, what a beautiful name," Blanc replied. "Thank you," she said. "Can you please turn towards me to see your face?" Blanc asked. "Oh, I'm a little embarrassed. I don't have the greatest look." Pa replied, "That's impossible. You have such a beautiful voice. You must be beautiful," Blanc admitted. "I don't want you to see me and run away," she said to him. "I won't run away," he told her. "Promise?" she asked. "I promise," Blanc said with a smile. Pa swept her hair behind her ear and slowly turned around. She was smiling, and around her mouth was dried blood. Blanc saw blood covering her teeth. It dripped down her mouth and chin onto the ground. Her skin began to appear bluish and appeared rotten. Blanc froze. He could not move nor make a sound and became speechless. It was as if he was under a spell. Pa strolled towards him and said, "I've been waiting for you." She grabbed his hand and they walked into the woods.